My name is Vera Richardson, and I'm responding to Omar Thornton's 911 confession where he admits to being the shooter at his place of employment. He also stated in his confession that he selected his victims and killed them because he and other blacks were being treated badly by that company. There are no justifications for Omar Thornton to kill people at work. That being said, I also believe that the statement made by the spokesperson for the company that Omar Thornton was not a victim of racism is not necessarily factual. The spokesperson stated that Omar didn't file a formal complaint with his union or with the company alleging discrimination, and he cited that as evidence that he was not a victim of racism at work. I know from personal experience that the fact that a person doesn't file a complaint with their union does not mean that they have not or are not being subjected to discrimination, retaliation, and a hostile work environment. For 3 years, from 1993 to 1996, I suffered a horrific hostile work environment while employed at Albion Correctional Facility. And during that time period, I did not file a complaint with my union, Council 82, or a complaint with the local Affirmative Action Committee at Albion Correctional Facility, or the state Affirmative Action Committee in Albany, New York, alleging discrimination or a hostile work environment. I did not file a complaint with either of those two bodies because of my knowledge of the way they handled cases in the past filed by minorities at Albion Correctional Facility. In those cases, the employee did not get any corrective action or any positive results to end or correct the discrimination they had experienced at work. What I did do was file direct complaints with the executive team members at Albion Correctional Facility, including Superintendent Andrews, a black female, Deputy Superintendent of Security Stevens, Deputy Superintendent of Administration Burberry, Captain Sherlock, Lieutenant Lucas, and all of my complaints went unanswered until I filed a formal complaint in New York State Division of Human Rights July the 5th and amended that complaint with them on July the 8th of 1996. Yet, in their declarations that were successful in getting my lawsuit thrown out of court and denying me the right to a jury trial, they stated that my complaints were investigated. They offered no proof other than a statement from Goncalves, Affirmative Action Committee person in Albany. He stated that for 3 years I called him over the phone with numerous allegations and that he investigated those allegations, and that I wasn't satisfied with the verbal report that he gave back to me after allegedly investigating those allegations. And if you think about it, you can see how ridiculous that statement is, because the New York State Department of Correctional Services has a directive that requires that the affirmative action person, once the complaint is, he becomes aware of a complaint, assigns that complaint a number, assigns it to an investigator to investigate, makes the his boss aware of the fact that a complaint has been filed, that after the investigation has been conducted, that a recommendation and or solution is offered and all parties are notified in writing. Yet there was no written record of him investigating complaints filed by me in 1990. Verbal complaints were filed by me with him from 1993, 1994, 1995, and 1996. So the fact that an employer states that something happened does not make it factual. And I hope that this entire incident, including this man's death, bed, confession, is investigated thoroughly so that other, not only victims of discrimination, but other people at work will not be subjected to this type of violence because their employer refused to abide by the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Title VII of that act, that you cannot discriminate and retaliate against a race of people based on their race, their color, their religious orientation, or their sex, or their disability. Thank you very much.